Muhammad, the future prophet of Islam, was born in Mecca around the year 570 CE. This ancient city, nestled in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, was a bustling hub of commerce and spirituality. Mecca was an important trading center in Arabia. Caravans from distant lands would converge here, bringing with them goods, stories, and cultures from across the known world. It was also a place where people came to worship at the Kaaba, a sacred shrine. The Kaaba, a cuboid structure draped in black cloth, was believed to be built by the prophet Abraham and his son Ishmael. Muhammad belonged to the Quraysh tribe, the guardians of the Kaaba. The Quraysh were a powerful and respected tribe, known for their leadership and custodianship of the sacred site. He was known for his honesty and trustworthiness. From a young age, Muhammad earned the respect and admiration of his peers for his integrity and moral character. Even before his prophetic mission, people called him Al-Sadiq, the truthful, and Al-Amin, the trustworthy. These titles were a testament to his unwavering commitment to truth and reliability. Muhammad was a thoughtful young man. He often pondered the deeper meanings of life and the universe, seeking answers to the profound questions that occupied his mind. He often spent time in prayer and reflection. The serene solitude of the desert caves provided him with a sanctuary for contemplation and spiritual connection. At the age of 40, he received his first revelation from God. This momentous event marked the beginning of his journey as a prophet. The angel Gabriel appeared to him and commanded him to recite in the name of God. This divine encounter was both awe-inspiring and transformative for Muhammad. These revelations, which continued over a period of 23 years, formed the verses of the Quran, the holy book of Islam. Each revelation brought new insights and guidance for the growing Muslim community. Muhammad's message was simple: there is only one God, Allah, and people should submit to his will. This call to monotheism challenged the polytheistic beliefs that were prevalent in Mecca at the time. He called for an end to idolatry and emphasized the importance of compassion, justice, and social responsibility. His teachings sought to create a more equitable and just society. Initially, he shared these revelations only with his close family and friends. These early followers who believed in his message formed the foundation of the nascent Muslim community. As Muhammad began to preach openly in Mecca, he faced growing opposition. His message of monotheism and social justice was revolutionary and unsettling for many. The Quraysh, his own tribe, were particularly resistant. They were the custodians of the Kaaba and held significant power and influence in Meccan society. Many of them profited from the pilgrimage trade and the worship of idols at the Kaaba. The Kaaba was a central hub for commerce and spirituality, attracting pilgrims from all over Arabia. They saw Muhammad's message as a threat to their economic and social order. The idea of abandoning their ancestral gods and the lucrative trade associated with them was unthinkable. Despite the growing hostility, Muhammad continued to preach. His determination and unwavering faith inspired his followers. He spoke out against the injustice and inequality of Meccan society. He condemned the exploitation of the poor and the marginalized. He urged people to care for the poor and the marginalized. His call for social reform resonated deeply with those who were oppressed and downtrodden. His message resonated with many, particularly the poor and the enslaved. They found hope and solace in his words. They were drawn to the message of equality and justice that Islam offered. The promise of a society where everyone was treated with dignity and respect was powerful. However, the Quraysh intensified their persecution of Muhammad and his followers. They saw the growing movement as a direct challenge to their authority. They subjected them to verbal abuse, social boycott, and even physical violence. The early Muslims faced immense hardship and suffering. Some of the early Muslims were tortured and killed. Their sacrifices and steadfastness in the face of persecution became a testament to their faith and commitment to the new message. Despite the persecution, Muhammad's message continued to spread. His words resonated deeply with those who were seeking truth and justice, and his teachings began to reach far beyond the borders of Mecca. People from outside Mecca were drawn to his teachings. They traveled from distant lands, eager to hear the message of peace and unity that Muhammad preached. Among them were representatives from Yathrib, a city north of Mecca. These delegates were intrigued by the promise of a new way of life that Muhammad's message offered. Yathrib was a diverse city with Arab and Jewish tribes. The city was a melting pot of cultures and traditions where different communities coexisted but often found themselves at odds. It was plagued by internal conflicts. The constant strife and discord among its inhabitants made daily life challenging and unstable. The people of Yathrib saw in Muhammad a potential leader who could bring peace and unity to their city. They believed that his wisdom and guidance could help resolve their disputes and foster harmony. In 622 CE, a delegation from Yathrib met with Muhammad in Mecca. They came with a proposal that could change the course of their city's future. They pledged their allegiance to him and invited him to come to their city as their leader and arbiter. This invitation was a significant gesture, reflecting their hope for a better future. This pact, known as the First Pledge of Aqaba, marked a turning point in the early history of Islam. It was a covenant of protection and mutual support. It offered Muhammad and his followers a safe haven from persecution. The people of Yathrib welcomed them with open arms, providing a sanctuary where they could practice their faith freely and live in peace. The Quraysh, alarmed by the growing popularity of Muhammad and his message, realized that he posed a significant threat to their authority. They feared that if he left Mecca and established himself in Yathrib, he would gain even more influence and power. They resolved to eliminate him. The Quraysh held a secret meeting at Dar al-Nadwa, their council chamber. They plotted to assassinate Muhammad. Each clan would send a young warrior to deliver a fatal blow, making it impossible to pin the blame on any one group. This plan, they believed, would prevent a blood feud and ensure their safety. Section 5. A daring plan. News of the plot reached Muhammad. He received divine guidance to leave Mecca immediately. That night, the would-be assassins surrounded his house, waiting for him to emerge. However, Muhammad, with his loyal companion Abu Bakr, had already slipped out of the city. Following God's instructions, Muhammad and Abu Bakr sought refuge in a cave on Mount Thawr, a few miles south of Mecca. This cave, known as Cave of Thor, would become a symbol of faith, trust, and divine protection in Islamic history. Section 6. The Night of Departure. The Quraysh searched frantically for Muhammad. They scoured the city and offered a large reward for his capture. Some of the pursuers came close to the cave where Muhammad and Abu Bakr were hiding. Abu Bakr, fearing for their safety, whispered to Muhammad, "If any of them were to look down at their feet, they would surely see us." Muhammad, with unwavering faith, reassured him, "Do not grieve, for God is with us." He reminded Abu Bakr that they were not alone. God was protecting them. This incident highlighted the depth of trust and companionship between Muhammad and Abu Bakr. Section 7. Farewell to Mecca. Before leaving Mecca, Muhammad went to his cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib. He entrusted Ali with the task of returning the belongings people had entrusted to Muhammad, demonstrating his honesty and trustworthiness even in this dangerous situation. It was a testament to his character that even those who opposed his message trusted him implicitly. As Muhammad and Abu Bakr left Mecca under the cover of darkness, the Prophet paused to look back at the city. He loved his birthplace despite the persecution he had endured there. He uttered a heartfelt prayer, expressing his sorrow at leaving and his hope that one day he would return in peace. Section 8. Refuge in the cave. For 3 days and nights, Muhammad and Abu Bakr stayed in the cave. Abu Bakr's slave, Amir ibn Fuhaira, brought them food and news. The Quraysh continued their search, but God protected his prophet. Legend has it that a spider spun its web across the entrance to the cave, and birds built their nests there, making the pursuers believe that no one had entered recently. Inside the cave, Muhammad and Abu Bakr found solace in prayer and reflection. The Quran describes how God comforted his prophet during this time of fear and uncertainty. It emphasizes that God is always with those who believe, even in the darkest of times. Section 9. Divine Protection. After 3 days, it was safe for Muhammad and Abu Bakr to leave the cave. They continued their journey south, guided by a Bedouin named Abdullah ibn Uraykid. The Quraysh, realizing that Muhammad had escaped, intensified their pursuit. They sent riders in all directions, promising a large reward for his capture. One of these search parties, led by Suraka ibn Malik, came close to catching Muhammad and Abu Bakr. However, according to Islamic tradition, Suraka's horse stumbled and his weapons fell to the ground. He interpreted this as a sign from God and abandoned his pursuit. Section 10. Journey to Medina. After a perilous journey of about 8 days, Muhammad and Abu Bakr reached the outskirts of Yathrib. The people of Yathrib, who had been eagerly awaiting his arrival, greeted him with joy and celebration. They welcomed him as their leader and savior. Muhammad's arrival in Yathrib, which was later renamed Medina, the city of the Prophet, marked the beginning of a new chapter in Islamic history. It was in Medina that the first Muslim community was established. It was here that the Prophet laid the foundations of a new society based on the principles of justice, equality, and compassion. Section 11. A new community. The Hijra, as this migration is known, is a pivotal event in Islamic history. It marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. More importantly, it signifies the establishment of the first Muslim community of the Ummah. In Medina, Muhammad established a constitution, the Sahifa, that outlined the rights and responsibilities of all citizens, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. The Hijra was not just a physical journey, it was a spiritual transformation. It was a journey from persecution to freedom, from division to unity, from fear to faith. It is a testament to the power of faith, the importance of perseverance, and the enduring legacy of the Prophet Muhammad.